Hey, Spider Nation, welcome back to another episode of Spider-Man's Tangled WebShow. I'm Jonathan, webman at SpiderManFanRave.com. Going over there, it's my own personal Spider-Man website. I write articles, editorials, reviews, anything you want, you can find over there, SpiderManFanRave.com. It's a great website. You should go check it out. Tell your friends about it. Tonight I'm being joined by James. What's going on, James?
Not much, just tired. Worked a lot this week. Can't wait for tomorrow to be done so that way I got 2 days off. So yay.
As for myself this week, what have I been up to? Well, it's been a busy week here in Northeast Ohio. On Tuesday, I started my summer classes, which I'm enjoying currently. My big piano class, which is actually very enjoyable, though I haven't really gotten to left-hand stuff yet, which is going to be kind of problematic. But hopefully, it won't be too problematic.
Hey, left-handed stuff is easy, John, especially when you're me left-handed.
Other than that, I played trumpet last night, which was, that was an enjoyable performance. And a funny story from last night, actually. We were actually going to do this podcast last night, but then Time Warner Cable decided to completely cut its service to my entire city. So, yay!
I told you, I knew you guys should have paid that cable bill.
Yeah, you know what? We didn't have enough tax revenue, unfortunately. Oh well, but yeah, so that was awkward. Me and James were literally sitting here ready to go with the show, and then it all went out, and it didn't come back until this morning. So that was awkward, but oh well. I guess that kind of stuff just happens sometimes. But enough about me. We need to get to some news because we got a lot this week. We got plenty of stuff to talk about. We got a very rich show. First up, we'll tackle the comic news first. We got a pretty big reveal yesterday in terms of, I guess you could call it a threequel. And only threequel as well, because back in the 1970s, we got the first one. Back in the 1990s, we got a sequel. And now here in the 2010s, we're getting the third one. Dead No More, which is a...
Just to clarify, he's not talking about another Marvel Star Wars event because it started in the 70s, came back in the 90s, and then is now back now. We're not talking about Star Wars. We're talking about something else. I think I'm a clone now.
Yeah, it turns out that Spider-Man Dead No More, the big story that we've been leading up to for months upon months upon months upon months now, is actually something called the Clone Conspiracy, or at least that's going to be the title of the main miniseries that this story is going to encompass. Basically, to go into a bit more detail, Dead No More is the culmination of basically a series of subplots that have been going on for evidently Dan Slott's entire run on the Amazing Spider-Man title, and it's all going to culminate in Spider-Man Dead No More: The Clone Conspiracy, which is I think it's a 5-issue miniseries. It's going to be starting in October, and it will be helmed by Dan Slott for writing and Jim Chung on pencils. And it's basically a 5-issue miniseries that deals with people coming back. Everything is not as it seems to be. We don't know exactly what's going on, and there will be a tie-in story to accompany it in Amazing Spider-Man starting in October as well, but the main story will be in this Clone Conspiracy miniseries. So basically, we've gotten is a little bit of just some preview details by Dan Slott. Nothing incredibly revelatory. And we've also gotten some preview art. One that I'm looking at right now is Spider-Man standing in front of a grave and in front of a tombstone with lightning in the background. And so obviously it's giving the death and despair tone and vibe to it. And there's also a preview image of Spider-Man versus the Man in Red with the Anubis mask on. Yeah, basically the Jackal, because they've actually confirmed that it is the Jackal. They've said that multiple times. So, James, when did we call that? Like 6 months ago?
All week long, the promotion for this event is it's not what you think is going to happen. Everything the fan theories are saying are complete 180 of what's actually going to happen. You guys have no idea what's going to happen. You don't have no idea. It's exactly what people have been calling for a year now.
Back in November when we said, "Oh, hey, that guy wearing the red suit, he's bringing people back." It's the Jackal, isn't it? No, 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 it's not the Jackal. It's not the Jackal. It's the Jackal, isn't it? Yeah. And like literally, that's what happened.
I just love it that their whole thing was all week long was it was like you don't know what you think you know, or it's not what you think it is, and all this stuff. And it ends up being exactly what people were predicting since issue 1.
And
like literally, I can see where this event's going. Jackal's gonna clone a lot of people. We already know that he's gonna clone clones. He's using it to blackmail people to get to Spider-Man. Spider-Man's gonna overcome the clones. All the clones are gonna die. Maybe the Gwen one will live because we need to keep Gwen alive now because Spider-Gwen and Emma Stone and all that stuff. Oh, and guess what? One of the clones happened to be a Doc Ock body, and Doc Ock transloads his brain back into the clone, so now he's alive again. And if it's not 100% that, I don't know how that's possible. Like literally, that's got to be what the storyline's gonna be.
yeah, it's I don't want to sound like I'm being negative towards it because I'm really not, because like I mean I haven't read it yet, but like yeah, we called this several months ago. This is not a surprise to anybody. The only thing I'm kind of surprised at is that we have to buy a whole separate miniseries in order to get the full story. That's what I kind of don't really understand. I guess that's more of a
Spider-Verse was kind of like that, but it wasn't really, because the main storyline still took place in the Spider-Man book, and the Spider-Verse title was just, here's what also happened.
Yeah, I find it weird that we have to buy a completely separate series in order to get the main story, and that Amazing Spider-Man is going to be the tie-in. That's the only thing that's kind of throwing me off here is like, why is your main story not in ASM, and why is this miniseries the main story? Isn't that like
they did the same thing with Maximum Clonage? It all goes full circle, John.
You know what? That is a good point. You know, Maximum Clonage, the sequel. Maybe we'll get Maximum Clonage, the sequel, finally. Bring back people like Spider-Side.
I'll be so shocked if the main title, they don't decide, we're going to put it in holographic poly bags, and you're going to have all this collectible shit and holographic covers, because they're going to capitalize on the fact that, holy shit, we're doing a sequel to the Clone Saga. They're going to capitalize on that.
Will we see Ben Reilly at all during this event, James, do you think?
I think so. Like, if it's a Clone Saga story, it's got to have Ben in it. Even if it's yet another Peter clone who thinks he's Ben Reilly. And it's just a one-page thing, or one-issue thing, and then he degenerates. He's dead. Like, that's probably what will happen.
This mini-series will be kicking off in October along with the ASM story tie-in. So we've still got 4 more months before anything comes of this. So we shouldn't get too excited at this moment. But that's all we have for that story. It's a big reveal in that everything we thought was going to happen is going to happen.
Another thing is, even though it's going to be called the Clone Conspiracy, the tagline is still Dead No More. So, like, somebody joked on, like, CBR, I believe. They go, I still find it funny that this fall are going to have 2 major comic book events. For Spider-Man, who's now back in the MCU, is called Dead No More, and the X-Men's big event is called Death of the X-Men.
Yeah. Do we I was going to say, is that a coincidence? I think not.
And another thing, if I can just say it, because I was just thinking, there's always been that fan theory of mine that if you go back to Clone Saga trades or Marvel Unlimited or whatever, or your back issues, it's stated, and I know it's smoke and mirrors, they were all bullshit. Bullshit was bullshit, that was bullshit in the Clone Saga. But it was stated, Ben can't degenerate like the other clones because he is the one pure 100% clone. So because the clone, degenerated in Revelations, who's to say Jackal doesn't say, yeah, that was a clone who died. The real clone of Ben Reilly is right here. The real clone, the real Ben is right here. I had him this whole time, and then you saw a clone die. Smoke and mirrors, Jackal has done shit like this before.
Jackal does that every time he appears. Literally.
Like, that could be their way. If you want to bring back Ben, that's their door out. Is the one who degenerated in Revelations is a clone. But then that opens up the can of worms again if Peter's the real one or Ben's the clone.
Yeah. More news. We've actually got, speaking of MCU Spider-Man, we actually do have some movie casting news this week. And probably the biggest news, probably the biggest casting news, maybe of this entire movie so far, besides probably Downey, is Donald Glover has joined the cast of Spider-Man Homecoming. We don't know who he's playing. We have no idea what his role. He's only in talks to join the movie. But let me just throw this out there right now because I feel I need to say it. No, he is not Miles Morales. He is not Miles Morales coming back from the future to warn Peter of his death. I guarantee you that's not true. I guarantee you.
Why would they do that? Batman v Superman just had that same plot with the Flash. Why would they fucking do it then in the Spider-Man movie a year later?
He is not trying to be here to set up a Spider-Verse movie where they bring back Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield. That is not going to happen. And what they are also not going to do is kill Peter at the end of Spider-Man Homecoming so that they can move to Miles after they've done so much work promoting Peter Parker, the high school kid in the MCU, as the big different hero who stands on his own and is not in any way like the other ones. That is not going to happen either. Now that we got the bullshit out of the way, because I had to address those rumors because I was just like, are you kidding me? Do we think I
think he's Randy. That could be a way to introduce Peter to the Bugle. Is that him, Randy, going, hey, Peter, you like to post videos of Spider-Man on your YouTube page. Why don't you give them to my dad's newspaper? He works for the Bugle. I
think I was actually going to say Donald Glover. Donald Glover cannot play a high school kid. He's 32 years old. He does not look anything like a high schooler. But what he could do is play Robbie. And I'd be all in favor of that.
Oh yeah, I'm surprised nobody thought of that. That they immediately jumped to Miles. They did not jump to, oh, he could be Robbie.
Please, okay, Marvel, that's what I'm asking for. Robbie Robertson, Donald Glover. That's what I want, all right? That would be amazing.
I still think that's going to be their way of updating it. The whole fact that it's hinted in Civil War that Peter was uploading YouTube videos of Spider-Man, and that's how Tony found him. I think that they're going to probably reveal that, the Bugle, because Peter's YouTube account got so many hits from Spider-Man thing, that the Bugle hired him. If they go, no, we want those to be exclusive to our website or whatever. And that's going to be their way of updating it.
You can have Robbie, or you can have Donald Glover as Robbie, and then you can have Ice Cube as Jonah, which I'm still pushing for. I know that's bullshit, but I'm still pushing for it.
It's not going to happen, God. I got a funny feeling that one of the people who've been cast recently is Jonah.
I know it's bullshit, but I'm still pushing for it. But yeah, but that's really all we can say about Donald Glover. There's no actual substantive information as to who he's playing. That it's just our own speculation. But I can tell you right now, he is not Miles Morales. All right, just no, just stop, all right.
And if he is, it's going to be a case of in name only.
Pretty much, yeah. But other news this week, we got Martin Starr is cast in this movie as we have no idea who. I don't even know who Martin Starr is. So there's nothing really substantial to talk about there. Should mention it. But the other actual, I guess, critical piece of casting news that we got this week was Logan Marshall Green has been cast to play a secondary villain in the film, to evidently to Michael Keaton's Vulture, which I guess is confirmed now because, I mean...
It's not. So many people are running around with these rumors and saying they're 100%. I watched a YouTube video where this guy's review says, I love that they're making it Michelle Gonzalez. Like it's 100% confirmed when it wasn't. It was just, she got cast, and rumor has it her character's name is Michelle. Nothing set in stone that it was Michelle Gonzalez, and people are running around saying that that's 100% confirmed.
Well, I know that one's not confirmed, but I heard somewhere that the Vulture thing was. I don't know. Maybe that's bullshit. But he's going to play a secondary villain to Michael Keaton. Rumors have it any one of the Smythes. It could be the Tinkerer. We don't know. We've heard the Tinkerer's name thrown around before. I'd be okay with the Tinkerer, but I don't really think this Logan Marshall Green guy really looks like the Tinkerer that much. I think he'd be much better suited to be an Alistair Smythe.
They've pretty much anybody who is a scientist in the Spider-Man books have been named off as who is it going to be. Smythe, Senior, Mental Strom. Everybody who's a doctor or scientist in the Spider-Man world has been named off as that's who he is.
And so we don't know who he's playing. Personally, I'm hoping for Alistair Smythe. The only time we've ever gotten Alistair Smythe in a movie was ASA Novak played him for one scene just to make fun of Jamie Foxx.
That is why I think it's not going to be Smythe. Because Smythe was in a movie, and they said both villains have never been in a movie before. And so Smythe technically counts with that scene.
Damn it. Okay, never mind.
So I think it could be Tinkerer, for the main fact of Amazing Spider-Man issue number 2. What two villains debuted in that?
And Tinkerer.
Vulture and Tinkerer. What are the rumor villains of the movie is? Vulture and Tinkerer. Coincidence?
I don't think so. I think that's just.
And the rumor plot of them using Shikari tech for him to build all this stuff ties into Tinkerer's origin with the aliens.
I was gonna say, please don't do any alien crap, but yeah, there is a rumor out there that Vulture's suit is actually made out of leftover from the first Avengers film. And so that would make sense, and it would be more practical than it would be more realistic than, oh hey, we built these wings that can somehow glide because comics.
You do know there's already a character with that exact thing going on, John.
Yep.
You just made fun of a character that has been in 3 Marvel movies already. No, 4 Marvel movies already. Sorry, I didn't almost count Ant-Man.
Yeah, everyone forgets about Ant-Man, though. I always forget that he was in Age of Ultron, too, because he was only in, one scene.
He's in 2 scenes. He's in the party and at the old Avengers Assemble part at the ending.
Sorry, Anthony Mackie. Sorry. Okay, now that I've dug myself into a hole completely, maybe we should move off.
That's stupid. They'll never do that after they already did it in 4 movies.
It is cast if I don't make myself look stupid.
No. See, they never said where those arms came from. It's probably Shikari Tech 2. So technically, I'm right.
Actually, they said that those wings came from some military base in somewhere. But anyway, let's just move off of that topic before I make myself look like more of an idiot. That's all the news we have for this week. There's nothing else really substantial. We just wanted to mention the movie casting because we felt it was important. But the main thing that we have to talk about this week, Amazing Spider-Man Volume 4, number 14. This is Power Play Part 3, Avengers Assembled. This is Part 3 of 4 of this story. We have one more issue after this. And next issue is the big one, James, because the next issue, we have Iron Jane, which is still never heard for anything.
Iron Jane, people are still running around that confirms that she's becoming a regular back in the Spider-Man title, and she's going to have superpowers. No, they did this in the other 2 with her, people. They're just giving her a fucking suit to wear for 1 issue. So that way she can fight Region also. That's all that's going to happen.
But running down the creative team here for this issue, we got Dan Slott and Christos Gage as writers. Giuseppe Cameron, colorist Marte Garcia, lettering VC's Joe Caramagna, cover artist Alex Ross, associate editor Devin Lewis, editor Nick Lowe. All right, so the issue begins in good old Jersey City with Kamala Khan, or Kamala Han. I apologize. I don't really know how to pronounce that name, or the last name at least. AKA the brand new Miss Marvel, who's not really brand new anymore. She's been around for a couple. Miles Morales, I'm going to kill you. You text me our distress call in the middle of class, but things could not be more peaceful here, and you're nowhere in sight. Hello, GPS says you're right here. Are you using your camouflage? I swear, if you're pranking me again, I'll. Still to Regent. Status report. Success. Our young Spider-Man's venom touch functions as well as his camouflage abilities. Prepare Ms. Marvel's tank. With these children's unique talents in my arsenal, their fellow Avengers won't know what hit them. And that's exactly what happens, because Regent is going around the city, taking down pretty much every superhero in his sight. And right now he's got his sight set on the Avengers. Nova goes down pretty easily. Sam Wilson goes down incredibly easily. The Vision, Regent doesn't even break a sweat. And finally, we get to the Jane Foster Thor. She proves to be a little challenge, but not so much, because it ends up that she basically ends up captured along with the rest of them as well. And so while the Regent is having an exceptionally good day carrying out his plan,
Oh my God,
I have
John.
to say, I don't know what you just said. I don't know what you just meant by that.
I guess the whole Regent's having the best day ever. I just imagine him singing the song from SpongeBob. It's the best day ever. You got to do it in like a really, monotone voice with Regent.
Okay, but meanwhile, while Regent's having an exceptionally good day, the same cannot be said for Peter Parker and Tony Stark, because they may or may not be responsible for a missing 15-year-old child, which is, probably not good for either one of their companies. But in classic CEO billionaire style, they're playing damage control cover-up. And our scene transitions into the Davis Morales household. I didn't know our son entered a science contest, let alone won. It's a joint Stark Parker Industries initiative to develop the scientists of tomorrow. It's an intense competition for only the best and the brightest. Like Miles. You should be very proud. Very. But the rules involve no access to the internet or any outside help. We just want to let all the parents know that everything's all right. So, Tony Stark and Peter Parker, CEOs of major companies, are going to every family's kitchen? That just seems odd. Nah.
Oh, get it? Get it? Because Tony did that in the movie? Get it?
Nah, you'd be surprised how little work we actually do. The idle rich. Unbelievable, right? So to sum up, Miles, great kid, be home soon. And both Stark and Parker Industries think he's got a bright future. We'll just see ourselves out. And Man and Iron Man, like, we are totally not those guys. So Peter, Tony, and Mary Jane, who I'm sorry, I forgot to mention that Mary Jane was there as well. They walk out of the Miles Morales household, and Tony's like, Peter, what the F was that? Like, seriously, you basically just blew our cover. Are you kidding me? And so Peter says, look.
Peter's like, well, that's what I do. I blow people's covers, except for my secret identity, which I do a deal with the devil to keep.
Look, Tony, I've been covering for my Spider-Man since he was Miles' age. He'd get zapped off to a magic dimension or teleported to the Savage Land and come back. We'd call that Tuesday. And Miles is better trained than my pal was at that age. I have faith in him. Now tell me, did you pick up anything in there? Performed a full scan. He hasn't been here since he went missing. Now listen, you being Spider-Man's pal and being Spider-Man, I've had just about enough of you today. Call on your friend, tell him to meet us at Avengers HQ, and maybe together we can fix this mess. Man, Tiger, the verbal gymnastics you just went through, you have no idea how glad I am all this secret identity nonsense is out of my life. Tony's not perfect, but with him, everything's out in the open.
Wow. Says the woman who kept her own personal life a secret identity all these years and kept Peter's secret all these years, even to the point that Peter didn't know that she knew.
We'll get back to this later, James. Believe me, we'll get back to this later. Was it really all that bad? I'm sorry, MJ. I can't do this right now. All of our soap opera. there's a kid missing, and look, something bigger is going on right now between than
Oh
than,
my
than you
God.
and me. Look,
Oh my God.
I can't do this right
That
now, Mary Jane.
John, you're witnessing the moment when somebody realizes they replaced their daughter with Miles in this book. She's the fill-in for her.
I know. I lived it too, Tiger. We called it Tuesday. I feel like I'm in college again, tripping over every other third word with MJ. But I can't think of that now. Have to focus on Miles. At least that thunderstorm that came out of nowhere seems to be going away. I'm going to take that as a good sign. I don't know my ass off at that.
No, the X-Men just had a battle like 2 streets ago, Peter. That was all just storm the whole time. Oh,
That random thunderstorm that came out of nowhere, which we of course know was because Thor just got her butt kicked. I don't know.
no,
why.
it's something I do. Peter saying, I think it's a good sign it's this thunderstorm that came out of nowhere. God, Peter, you do realize that you have 2 superheroes with weather powers running around New York City, right? I don't care.
That was just, I don't know why. I laughed so hard when I read that. I don't know
Just
why.
imagine Peter
It was
like this. This is how I imagine him when he says that. I don't care.
so. Meanwhile, speaking of Thor, Regent is taking her back to the cellar, and he says, open the door. I don't want anyone to see her. Me carrying Thor as my prisoner. How is she? Containment is holding, and her vitals are stable. It's your life signs I'm worried about. I don't know that you can handle another fight right now. I disagree, Doctor. Even before adding Thor's strength, I felt like I could handle anything. Well, I can't argue with your success. You're on a roll. Ms. Brent forced me to move up our timetable. Who knows what suspicions she shared with other reporters? Yes, so it turns out, when Betty went to the prison at the end of last issue to talk to Augustus Roman about being the regent, turns out that was a bad idea. Which I think any one of us could have told you.
Yeah, but here's the thing. The whole world thought Regent was a superhero. And his company logo is on Regent's chest. Why didn't he just pull a Tony Stark and say, yeah, I am Regent. So I'm a superhero and I'm a billionaire. Tony Stark can do it. Why can't I? And then tell her, there's the door. There's your story. I'm Regent. Bye. Nobody knows he's kidnapping heroes yet.
Yeah, so Betty Brant is being held captive at Empire Unlimited. You will be glad to hear I'm giving the suit some downtime. There are still matters only Augustus Roman can handle, like my meeting with Mr. Osborn. Oh, forgive me. It's Lyman now, isn't it? No, it is not Lyman. Stop it.
Everybody is calling him out for it. And then you got the Civil War II tie-in where he brings it up again. Just make up your mind.
Stop it. Stop. All right. No biggie. I just don't want to think. I just don't want people to think.
Have a mental breakdown, people.
No biggie. Just don't want people to think the apple fell too close to the goblin tree. If I thought that, I'd hardly be considering our joint venture, would I? And so basically they just talk, and we get a flashback to Harry saying, "Hey Betty, if we're right, he is Regent. There's one thing I need you to do, and that is get his autograph for my kids. Would that be for Normie, Stanley, or your own inner child, Harry?" Well, see, I never think about Normie, and Stanley I couldn't give a crap about because I almost let him get hit by a car a few issues ago. So let's make it out to me, shall we? And so, but we can clearly see that Harry is a bit suspicious of Roman throughout this meeting. But before we can move any further with it, we go to Avengers headquarters. No Spider-Man sightings except for you, and no one's seen Miles. Hold on, this might be something. The last activity on his cell is a text to Ms. Marvel. The emergency signal. It goes dark soon after. That's huge. Jarvis, any word from her? No, sir. In fact, not a peep from any of the other Avengers. Caw-caw! Now that's what I call
What the fuck was that, John?
It's what the bird does.
Just say a bird came flying in. You're gonna do the world's worst bird sound.
Caw-caw, caw-caw. Okay. Red Wing, Cap's bird. It's not a good sign that he's alone. Since when are you falcon phobic, lady? Hey, not everyone has spider sense. You two sure are chummy. This again. You know how we know each other, remember? We all lived together in Avengers Tower. I was dating Parker when he and you built some spider armor for this jerk. That doesn't sound right. Jarvis, is that true?
It doesn't sound right. I know. She's out of character.
I was this. Even quoted Master Parker's charming aunt for a time. Ew. I mean, oh. Hey, man. Do you think I could get in with that aunt, too? I don't know, sir. I hear she looks remarkably like Marissa Tomei at this moment. Oh,
but the one I did, it looked like Rosemary Harrison.
How is the dear lady, Miss Watson? Easy, Tiger. Mrs. Parker is Mrs. Jameson now. And so we move to May and Jameson's penthouse. Dear, we need to leave if we don't want to miss the start. I'm almost ready. Cough, cough, cough. Are you all right? Just need a drink of water and I'll be fine. Are you coming? Of course, Jay. I'd never miss a night on the town with my... And I'll just hold this up to the camera so that you can see. It turns out Aunt May, I guess, is coughing up blood. James, do we know any story that's coming up where that might play a factor?
None. Whatsoever.
Yeah, I can't think of one. It's just this is a complete.
I just want to bring up that when Jade's like, "What's keeping you so long?" She's like, "Hey, I'm Aunt May. I'm contractually obligated every 5 to 10 years to have some kind of health problem. Give me a break."
Yeah. So meanwhile, at Empire Unlimited headquarters, Harry is sort of interrogating, or he's not really interrogating Augustus Roman, but he's sort of implying that, like, hey, you might know where my friend is who's been missing for a week. And he points out that he's tracked Betty's webware watch to that exact location. And it says, what? And he says, what have you done? You should see a doctor, Mr. Osborn. I fear you're exhibiting some of your hereditary paranoia. Ms. Brent interviewed me last week, and she must have misplaced her device. Or maybe she came here to ask you about your side gig as Regent. Enough! You made the same mistake she did. You came alone. Not for long.
Again, there's nothing that Harry should think that he's evil. Just play up to it. Yeah, I'm Regent. I'm a superhero. She was here, and then she left. Oh, okay. She leaves. No, it's immediately, you know what I suppose, sucker punch.
So just at that moment, Spidey gets the alert on his own webware when he's at Avengers headquarters. And so he's like, what the heck? What is Harry doing with Regent? Oh man, I know what this is about. Harry, Betty, and I figured out Augustus Roman was Regent. MJ, why didn't you tell one of us? I thought secret identities were sacred, Mr. Whoever's under the mask.
Oh, if I could quote one of my favorite lines of Simpsons, to the point that whenever somebody says something like that on the internet, I always post a link to it. Oh, bitch, bitch, bitch.
Point taken. It's just not my day, is it? Wub up and hang on, Spidey. Whoa! This is connected with Miles. It has to be. I knew there was something wrong with that Regent character. Really? Because you've never mentioned that before? Not once. Where is this suspicion coming from, Tony? Never once have you even acknowledged this guy's existence.
It's called, this is what Tony's thinking. Oh my God, Mary Jane Watson figured it out before I did. I thought it might have been him too. I had my suspicions. Good one, Tony, covering their tracks. Awesome.
So so Peter and Tony, you know, they're flying off to go and find the Regent, but it turns out the Regent has found them. And just at that moment, they basically proceed to get their asses handed to them because Regent has the power of every hero in the Marvel Universe. Because we cut to the cellar where they're currently putting Harry Osborn into containment, and we see various other heroes who Regent has picked up, such as Daredevil and a bunch of other superheroes that, you know, we can't quite make out because they're in the background. So Regent is taking on Peter and Tony. He's having pretty easy time taking them down. All you are now are 2 more from my collection. Let whoever's left come. Send them all. It won't be enough. I am power incarnate. I am the only savior humanity needs. I am Jesus. I mean Regent.
I am Somebody who nobody gives a shit about still.
To be continued. Dun, dun, dun. Next month with this comic. And volume 4, number 15. With Iron Jane. But yes.
Wow.
All right. Okay. What do we say about that comic? I guess I'll go first. I'll be honest with you. I did not hate this comic. I really didn't. I actually kind of enjoyed it. But here's the big thing. I'll start. I'll leave the big thing for last. I'll start off with what I liked first. I like the Regent. Contrary to basically everyone else, I like the Regent. I think he's a fun villain. I enjoy his plot. I like the dilemma that he presents with having all of the other superheroes' powers. So I like the Regent. I think he has a good plot in this. I continue to enjoy the supporting cast. I like Harry's role in this. The Lyman reference put aside. I think Harry's being utilized very well in the story arc. So I like that. I think the artwork, once again, by Kamikoli Smith and Garcia is very good. It's continuously gorgeous. I think the cover by Alex Ross is very nice. I like that Peter has faith in Miles. I like that he gives Miles the credit that he deserves because Miles has proven himself time and time again to be a very competent hero. He is a card-carrying member of the Avengers, so I like that Peter has faith in him.
Which makes sense. Peter's
like questionable.
It makes sense, though, because Peter's like, hey, none of you Avengers jackasses when I was a member gave me faith. In fact, I was your punching bag joke about how much of a loser I am. So you know what I'm doing? I'm giving that guy faith.
Yes, so I like that moment. And the thing was, something that I noticed about this issue was Peter and Tony actually upped their maturity significantly in this issue.
They finally acted like Peter and Tony.
Yeah, so the dick measuring contest was out the window, which I was happy about. But then we get to, oh God, I don't want to.
Can let's just save it when I get to my bitch rant. Let's just say everybody else, Peter and Tony finally acted in character, and they gave all that out of character bullshit to somebody else. Let's just say.
All right, we'll save the rants about someone else for a minute, but overall, I haven't completely given my review yet, but I will just say I give this issue kind of like a thumbs. It's not a thumbs up. It's not a thumbs sideways. It's somewhere slightly in the middle. It's if I were to give it a letter grade, it'd probably be a B-. This was an enjoyable issue for me, apart from what we're going to talk about in a minute. But I felt that there were more positives than negatives. The negative is very significant, so it brings the grade down a bit, and very significantly, but not enough to completely take it off of a positive mark. So it's like a B-. All right, James, we'll let you go to your review. Tackle everything else first, and then we'll hit the big topic together. So apart from the obvious elephant in the room, what did you think of this issue?
I think it's a lot. How do I say this? I think it's not as good as. There's elements that are better than the previous two parts, but I like the previous two parts more. I like I said, that Peter and Tony finally acted Peter and Tony. They were not saying, well, I did this first. Well, I did it better. No, I did it better. No, I did it better. It's none of that shit. I'm happy about that. I like the moments with Harry. Because that's very Harry Osborn, except for the Lyman shit. The anime stuff is just, normal anime shit. It's I joke, every 5 to 10 years she goes through this. It's I'm numb to it. After one more day, which was my first anime house scare, I've been numb to it. And I can just imagine what every other Spider-Man fan since Amazing Fantasy 15 has felt. With her other hundreds of thousands of them.
I'm going to be honest with you. That is when I did my review of this comic for my website and everything, talk about this issue, I don't even think about that scene. I just completely forget about it.
But it's what else is new? Show me something new. Anime is sick again. Yay. Or nay, depending on your point of view. Who cares? Moving on. It's like, okay, Spider-Man swings web and Ant-Man gets sick. That's been the status quo since 1962. Do something else with her. That's not just marry her to a Jameson. And then, so while that stuff's in the art, so I like the artwork to this issue. But then here's where my complaints are coming in. My first one is Regent once again being overpowered like he was in the original art. Because once he loses, that's where a lot of my problems for New Year Vows. Guy can take down every Marvel hero, but can't beat a 5-year-old girl. How am I supposed to take him seriously now when he does all that shit again? It's like a wrestling match. If you have a guy being buried, you can't take him credible as a threat, and if anybody loses to him then after his burial, then that makes them look like less of a threat. So you got all these heroes, it's like, you lost to the guy who lost to a 5-year-old girl. What does that make you? So I have that problem. Damn it, Regent, I fucking hate that character. I have a problem with Jarvis in this, where he remembers a relationship. That's a big continuity error, being that Jarvis was a Skrull back then.
Well, it's continuity. Who knows with continuity?
He remembers dating Ant-Man.
It's just,
and never brought this up to Tony before when because Mary Jane says this, gets annoyed at this issue. She's like, I'm tired of telling you he's a date Peter Parker. We live in your house together. What did Jarvis bring up then? Say, yeah, it's true. I banged his aunt. No, he waits until now. He's the worst butler in a Spider-Man thing since Spider-Man 3. For the same problem. Why didn't you tell this person earlier? That's my problem. It's just Jarvis. Like, oh yeah, I can confirm it's true now.
all right, but
I can't get May because everybody's that mental image now. You're welcome, Marvel.
shall we hit the elephant in the room, James?
I don't hit women.
Okay, okay, I realized how that sounded wrong. Okay, I didn't actually mean that, but okay, James.
I took up my other negative. I don't want our negative before. Like I said, the whole fact that everybody in fucking New York City thinks Regent is a hero, and they don't even know about him taking the other heroes yet. So he's really overreacting to Harry and Betty. All he has to say is, yes, I am Regent. I'm a superhero. There's your story, Betty. She leaves with a scoop. Problem solved. No, he kidnaps them for knowing too much. When all they know is the guy who they think is a superhero is that guy who they think is a superhero. They don't know he's evil. Harry worshiping the guy after he stayed his family. He jumped to it. Fuck you, Regent. So yeah, let's address that elephant in the room.
Mary Jane. Oh my gosh.
Your assassination with Mary Jane is one more day.
Oh my.
They're deliberately trying to make you hate her.
Oh my gosh. It's just like it's horrible. I like Kirsten Dunst as Mary Jane more than this one.
I pulled up my Blu-rays. I was going to bring up much more character Mary Jane Watson in these 3 movies than in the actual comic book. And that was the Mary Jane where they're like, let's take all of Peter Parker's girlfriends and push them into Mary Jane.
So, can I just say how painful that moment between her and Peter was? Okay, no, I have to narrow that down. When they're standing there, soap opera bullshit today. Just, what is this?
She's a hypocrite. Everything she says here is a fucking hypocrite in multiple ways. She kept a secret identity by not telling everybody about her abusive family. She kidded all these years, pretending to be this party go-go dancer chick all these years. This airhead Mary Jane Watson. Hey, Tiger, don't have a cow, man. You're awesome, Dad. That was all her covering up her family like being shit. So you had a secret identity, Mary Jane Watson. Go fuck yourself. And when I mean go fuck yourself, I don't mean you. I mean the people who are writing you right now. Your characterization, not you. Because it's like, that's bullshit. Me, Peter never asked her to keep her secret for her. She found out on her own and kept it all these years. She kept the secret identity to Peter that she knew his secret identity. And then you get the final one, which I knew was going to happen. I called this for the longest time. She's making Peter feel bad for having the secret identity. After everything they both went through in Civil War, back in Black One, where they omit all that crap. She's making him feel bad for having a secret identity. Bullshit. Bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. Bull fucking shit.
And the way she speaks to him, it's just like, this isn't even Mary Jane's voice. It's
them wanting you to hate her. When I read these panels, all I hear is Marvel saying, hate her. You gotta hate her. We gotta be right. They're not meant to be together. Hate her.
And you get all these scenes where she's insulting Peter, she's antagonizing Peter. And here's the after I read this issue, I was trying to rationalize this in my mind. And I was thinking back to the early JMS days when she and Peter were separated. And I was thinking, is this any way similar? No. Because
she was mad at him, but it was more of she's a separated wife mad at her husband, not a vindictive bitch like she is in this issue.
Here's the reason she was mad in the early JMS days. During that era, it wasn't that Peter had a secret identity. It wasn't that Peter was Spider-Man. It wasn't any of this stupid crap. It was the fact that she felt she could never match up to him. It was the fact that she felt like she didn't
compared to him.
She felt like he didn't need her, and she felt like she would never be his top priority. It was all this.
It was parallels. Peter always thought he was never good enough for her. She's a supermodel. She's friends with all her celebrities and actors and actresses and all her supermodels. I don't deserve her. And the whole time she's thinking, I don't deserve him. He's friends with the Avengers and the Fantastic Four.
And that was what tore their marriage apart. Here, it's, oh, hey, you swing around this city. You're a dick.
Fuck you.
The early issues did this so much better, where it actually made sense, and it was emotional, and it was human. And here it's just like, fuck you. Oh, fuck you too.
This is bad. As a Mary Jane fan, this is what made me really hate this issue. Because it's that character assassination that is there for no other reason besides you're supposed to hate her. And you don't hate Mary Jane.
It's the worst.
Because it's not Mary Jane. Like I said, Kirsten Dunst was more Mary Jane than her.
It's the worst Mary Jane characterization, at least. I don't know. I mean, I feel like it might not be the worst, but I can't recall. I can't recall any specific instance where it was worse off the top of my head. So
it's just bad. It's just so bad. It's like you said, John. It's exactly what you said. Like there's something else I wanted to say, but I can't think of it right now. They ruin it here with the way she's acting. Like you said, she would never treat Peter this way. And she wouldn't.
Like, even as far back as, even as recently as, 700, when it was Doc Ock, she was in love with the guy. And now, and let's remember, the reason she's pissed at him is because some maniac stole his life. And it was somehow his...
The real-life equivalent of this would be, somebody takes my credit card, my identification, ruins my life, and then my girlfriend going, well, that's because it's your fault. You're a moron. You're a fucking idiot. I'm leaving you for that. I'm going to treat you like a piece of shit now. Because some asshole stole your identity. That you had no control over.
That's basically what it is. And it's just like, no, that's out of character.
It is. Like, Peter brings up, like, oh, it's like I'm walking on eggshells with her again like we were in college. When? When was Mary Jane ever mad at Peter, really? There might be an, oh, poo, you're missing my date because you have to take bugle shots. But deep down, because she knew the secret, she was probably laughing like, I know what he's really doing. That's hot. But I want him to think I'm mad at him because this is a game to me. It's like, that's how Mary Jane was back in your college days, Peter. She wasn't being a bitch to you over having a fucking secret identity, which is goddamn hypocrisy.
Have we hit all the points we need to? I think I have.
I know I have.
All right. So, James, do you give this issue a thumbs up, sideways, down?
It's a down. Not just the Mary Jane thing, but like the Aunt May thing, because it's like, been there, done that. The Regent logic here makes no fucking sense. They think you're a goddamn superhero. Why do you go, they know too much, kidnap them? They don't know too much. They think you're the good guy.
All right, but that's all we have to. That's going to conclude our review for this issue. We don't really have anything else to say, and that's also going to conclude this episode of the podcast. So James, any shout outs for the listeners before we sign off?
Just a couple. Shout out to DC again, because this is the third week in a row that Reaper had really good issues. Titans #1 was very, very good. Superman had Superman's son kill the family pet. I just thought I would mention that because it comes completely out of nowhere, maybe for the story. A eagle comes down to take the family cat. He shoots X-ray vision at it, lasers, and it kills the dog or the cat. And then the whole issue is him trying to I'm trying not to tell my parents, my father's Superman, that I killed the family pet. And then at the end of the story, Batman and Wonder Woman rats the kid out. Your kid, Clark, he killed an animal. And the Clark's like, we need to talk, young. Like the issue ends with, we need to talk, young man. While he's in the Superman suit. It's like completely batshit and weird, but it's like, I want to see where this goes. Is Superman going to beat his son for killing the family pet? Like, where is this going? It's okay. It's not against the law of Krypton. It is on Earth, Superman. Damn it.
All right. And anything else, James?
Shout out to John.
Thank you.
We're getting close to issue 100, and that's impressive, especially coming from a guy who 4 or 5 times won with the show.
All right. Shout out this week: Marvel, Stan Lee, Steve Ditko, Dan Slott, Steppy Cameron Coley, John Watts, Kevin Feige, Tom Holland, all of them. Thank you for Spider-Man. Thank you for the comics reviewed this week. Other shout out. I got nothing. I got nothing. Shout out to my internet working again. I was honestly kind of nervous.
Shout out to Jan, who we can confirm is returning to the show for episode 100.
Yes. Look forward.
But this is the first time I'm going to tell John this. I kind of had to make a promise to him, my own one more day deal with John, with Jan, not a demonic deal, but just a deal between, getting some guy to return to a show, like a corporate deal, trying to get an actor back to a show. So, John, we're doing a movie commentary marathon of Spider-Man 1, 2, 3, ASM, and ASM 2. And John can believe us to quit the show again now.
I was going to say, I don't live long.
That was just a joke. I wanted to do that joke. Just to show that I have all 5 Spider-Man movies on Blu-ray, which I'm sure every Spider-Man fan watches it to say, well, no shit, sure, like I do too.
Yeah, it's like, I have them all on Blu-ray as well, James. Yeah, that's all I can say. We're 3 weeks away from our 100th show, which is really exciting. So tune in for that. Information about that. And that's
John has it. Besides for Jan coming back and possibly maybe others, that's all John has got to do what episode 100 is going to be. Just Jan for sure, and maybe some other people, maybe not though.
We'll see. But yeah. I guess that's gonna do it for this week's episode. That's what happens when internet dies, I guess. But yeah, so thank you all for tuning in. This has been Spider-Man's Tangled Web Show, episode 90 something. I know the YouTube title says 54, but yeah. Someday soon, I'm going to do something about that. I promise.
He's going to do the comic book thing of, we've reached the centennial issue. We're going back to the original numbering.
You know what? If Marvel can do it, I can do it.
And DC.
And basically everyone else. So yeah. Yeah, I'll do something about that in the near future. I promise. But other than that, yeah. So thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see you all next week. And yeah, see you later.